Hello everyone. I'm going to demonstrate for you the OneNote Classroom Notebook that is a part of Office 365. So I'm already logged into Office 365. I'm using an account today that was created for me by a school district. OneNote Classroom Notebook is available for educational accounts that have Office 365 educational accounts. Once you log in, if it's been installed by your administrator, it is a free app, but it does have to be installed by your Office 365 administrator so that teachers and students can access it. The teacher would see a icon that looks like this, Classroom Notebook, and they would simply click on it. At that point, they're going to come to the welcome screen for OneNote Classroom Notebook Creator, and it's pretty easy to use. You just kind of have 4 buttons here, and you just start. So I'm going to go ahead and start by creating a class. So I'll click on the Create a Class Notebook. At that point, you're going to need to name your class. So I'm going to go ahead and name my class English 3. And I'll go ahead and put, I'll just do it like this, period 2. And you can even put your name in front of that if you would prefer to do that. And we'll click the next button. Oh, let me clean that up a little bit. It's a little picky about the name. And we'll try it. Didn't like the apostrophe in my name. Always good to read the screen. Okay, so at this point, the structure of my class notebook as a teacher has already been created. There's going to be a collaboration space, a content library, and a student notebook section. The collaboration space is basically a place where the teacher can post, edit content. The students can edit content there as well. So both can collaborate in this section. The content library is a place where the teacher can post and edit content, but the students can only view content in the content library. So this is a great place for the teacher to publish course material for the students to see. And then finally, you have each student in your class will have their own space set up as a student classroom notebook. This is a private space for each student. The teacher, of course, can post and edit in that space, and the students can edit in his or own content space, but they cannot view others' notebooks. So we'll go ahead and click next here. Now the teacher can also give permission to another teacher to use the class notebook. So if there is an intervention teacher, a special education teacher, or a classroom teaching aide that you would like to give access, you can do that as well, and you would do that here. Go ahead and click next. And now at this point, the teacher can start adding students' names, and those names, of course, would be separated by a semicolon. So if the teacher starts typing a name, the name should appear. If the teacher doesn't have her roster list with her at this point, she can just click next and she can add those names later. Now there will be 4 sections created inside each student's private workspace: section for handouts, class notes, homework, and quizzes. If these 4 are not needed, the teacher can just uncheck these boxes and they will not appear. If she needs to add some additional ones or add ones with her own names, she can click here. We're just going to head and leave those alone. This is basically what that notebook is going to look like, the teacher's notebook. And then, of course, if we wanted to see the student's notebook view, this is what it would look like for the student. She simply clicks Create, and the notebooks will be created. Now, because I didn't assign any students yet, the student notebooks are not really going to be created at this point. So you do, if at all possible, if you have those students notebooks created, or if you know your students, you kind of want to add those before you get to this point if you have those student names. If not, it can be added later. Just wait a few minutes for the notebooks to be created. It is creating sections, some pages, because it puts some content in the notebook. It basically puts a tutorial for the teacher and student on how to utilize the notebook, and that's going to be already in the notebook when it's created. So now that the notebook has been created, we can click here to open the notebook. We can open the notebook in OneNote Online if we prefer. We can also copy the links above and share them with our students. So if the teacher is going to utilize OneNote on their desktop, they would click here. And if the students were going to use OneNote Online to access the notebook, they would click here. And if I click copy, I can actually copy that to send to my students in an email. So I'm going to go ahead and click Open Online so you get an idea of what it looks like. Takes just a few minutes for it to open. And then here is the notebook. As you can see, it's divided over here into different sections, and additional sections can be added for the teacher or students. We have the welcome page, which everyone would be able to see, students as well. And there's a link here to video that can be watched. There's images, there's text, and this is the tutorial that I was talking about. When you're finished with this part, you can delete this information and put your own information here. There is also, under the welcome section, there are all of these pages so that the teacher can go through the information for the teacher. The students, of course, would click on this link for the students, and then there's even some FAQs. Kind of gives you an idea of how you might organize your own notebook for your class. This tab will take me to the collaboration space. And of course, this is an area where not only the teacher, but the students can share information. So it's great for group work. There's only one page listed here, but additional pages could be added if the teacher needed to. And in the final tab is the content library. Remember, that's the place where the teacher can post content. The students cannot post content here, but they could copy content from the content library into their own notebook section. If I had added students, up here where you see these tabs, there would be tabs for each student's name, and that would allow the teacher to see all of the students that were in her class, and she could actually, if they were posting notes or posting assignments, she could actually see those assignments and grade those assignments. So in very quick form, that is OneNote Classroom Notebook. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if this is an online tool that you think you might want to try, it is available in most educational versions of Office 365, or if you have a business premium version, you can't get OneNote Classroom Notebook Creator, but you can get something called Classroom Cloud, which is very similar. In this section of the video, we're going to take a look at the OneNote Classroom Notebook that was created in the previous segment. However, in this section of the video, I have added students to this teacher's OneNote Classroom Notebook. You can see at the top, we see the name of the teacher, the subject, and period. Now, the teacher will have some additional sections that have been added on the left-hand side. Of course, we still have the welcome section, collaboration space, content library section, but now you'll see a section for each of the students that are enrolled in this class. The welcome section is a section created by the teacher that has several pages, as you can see here under it, and this is still the demo of the OneNote Classroom training that we're content-wise that we're seeing instead of English content. Students could also see all of these pages in this English 2 OneNote Classroom Notebook. Students would not be able to edit this section. This section is only editable by the teacher. The collaboration space is the section where the teacher and students can post information as well as make changes to information. And then, of course, the content library is the section that we talked about would be for the teacher to present content to her students, resources. Teacher has full edit privileges. The students would only have view privileges. Each one of these sections of the student notebooks is fully accessible by the teacher and also by that individual student. So for example, Ashley Jones can see anything that's placed in these 4 sections. Typically, Ashley would be the one editing these sections. The teacher would perhaps be viewing and sometimes posting grades to these sections. But Ashley could not see any of her classmates' sections of the notebook. So we have 4 sections that were created when the teacher first set up this notebook: homework section, quiz section, class note section, and handout section. All of these sections are actually empty at this point because the notebook has not yet been used by the students. But students will be able to post video, upload images, copy and paste images. They would be able to have links to various resources that they either wanted to share with their teacher or that they wanted to turn in as part of their homework or class notes. So this is the OneNote Classroom Notebook. You can see it's built on the backbone of OneNote. It does work with OneNote. Students can open, and so can teachers. If the teacher wanted to go up to the File menu and wanted to actually edit this particular class notebook in the OneNote app that was on the desktop, the teacher could do that. Teachers can also print. They can share their notebooks with other people by simply clicking here and inviting other people into the notebook. If the teacher wanted to add additional students to the class, she could do that. And here are all of the menus that we would normally see in most Microsoft products that are fully functional for the teacher and the student. So this is the OneNote Classroom Notebook. It does meet the online teaching tool criteria that we set forth earlier and that I talk about in my blog entry.